sucks to know that my whole life was gamed by proxy warfare based on my father's rape and based on my own brothers being drawn into it at a very young age. The reason I speak out is because I've been trying to speak out for 15, 20 years. I just haven't been able to even get into a place to speak out. And not to mention, there's a little shyness when you first start moving in that direction. But I recommend it for anybody who else feels that they need to speak out to start. And to start as soon as possible. The reason I say that is because you'll get over the shyness by doing it in the first place. Like, it's a challenging thing to speak out about things that you have going on in your life. You don't really know, like, where the enemy is, per se, or you might feel like you don't know if you have the ability to figure the things out that you really want to figure out in your life. But you deserve to figure these things out and try to figure forward when you're placed in a covert type of warfare or covert psychological abuse, covert gang stalking, or if you feel that you're a targeted individual. You're more than likely being targeted because currently in America and all over the world, there's tight-knit bureaucracies that are working to sabotage people's lives. They don't want you working. They want you depressed. It's to enhance their cartel operation with their many, many advertisements about their many head pills. And it's really the only way that the government actually wants to support you. You can have all of the proofs necessary, and they're still shutting down your availability of surviving. They don't want you to be okay in your mind. They don't want you to be able to articulate what's happening to you, and so badly so that they're going to be trying to not only come after your jobs, they can set up your love life so that they can continue a proxy warfare. For myself, it was the poisoning. It's obvious to me now, coming out of a poisoning and getting away from the people that were the poisoners. But you don't always have that reason and that reasoning skill. And that's the point of the poisoning, is to keep you small, keep you in their safe proximity, to suggest that they need to keep you within an arm's length, so to speak, within these crimes that they're taking upon your life. But they're meaning to literally subjugate your life through these crimes and through these abuses in a way that you're not even supposed to be able to see the crimes for what they are, or to see your way out, see a way through them to live an organic, functional life. They don't want you stable. They don't want you of sound mind. It doesn't suit their end game. basically utilizing your life so that they can try and suggest to other people that you're unstable, or like it's like to paint you up as though you're unstable by your own self when they're literally destabilizing you through the psychological operations, through the psychological warfare. And then the digital ID is just bullshit that they're trying to implement, because that's literally like they want to tie everything to that ID and plant it inside servers of their control operations, where they're not going to try and allow you to get away from anywhere. It's like literally to GPS you, monitor you, surveil you, know your belief system, know where you're working, know when you're working, know how often you're working. While they have ability then within a bureaucracy to basically hold targets by gunpoint without actual guns. And that's what they're subjugating people through basically already by being a targeted individual. And it's the same stories that, say, before the Holocaust with the Jews is creating. So they're trying to control the media, control your food rationing, control your ability to live free, because they hate Christians, they hate Christianity, they hate any God-fearing believer of any sect, because it's literally the satanic agenda, it's the satanic elite, it's these satanic synagogues, and it's what they're choosing to believe in. They don't care about life in general. They don't think that there's anything else after life, which is just weird, because where does your feeling center go then? Where does your emotional center go? Your spiritual center of who you are. So it's to leave you as like a dissenter, like if you're a dissident, and it's literally taking away everything that's supposed to be sanctified in life, that's holy, and decimate it down to the core of making sure that you're in poverty, making sure that you don't have a love life, making sure that you don't even have the love from your own family, in a way that there's togetherness and wholeness of figuring your way through these crimes. And if you can't figure your way through these crimes, it leaves you isolated and gaslit by your own society. And so the society that's in front of us, it is a society that's needing to subjugate their crimes, put people through these horrific events. And while they're placing people in these horrific events, they want to indemnify their crimes and their criminality, and all the while be paid well for doing and performing crimes. So as for me, I know for myself that I would be just fine had I been left alone. And that's one of the harshest parts to realize, on top of it being my own family blood brothers that set up this plan that my brother even admitted to me that he thought was pretty genius, but has nothing to do with wisdom, and it isn't very wise. To push your brother into an emotional state of mind through psychological manipulation and abuses, and then blame the victim. Blame the victim for the crimes that they're taking against you. So, psychologically abuse you, physically abuse you, the poisons, mentally abuse you, stealing away your natural ability to mind your own mind the way that you would otherwise think thoughts and move away from the crimes, because you would. Many times in my life I wish that I would have been able to, and there's a few times that I really was going to move away from these crimes, but they don't want to let you get away. They're not trying to allow you to get away from their tight-knit control psychologically to keep you within the abuses that they're placing upon your life. And they're hefty abuses. It's not just a one and done type of situation. I wish it was. I wish they would have just left me alone. But they never had it within them to leave me alone in that way, because it's their own consciences that are unclean, and they have things to hide. They have skeletons in their closet. With keeping a person down, controlled, manipulated, you name it. That's what this gang stalking operation has to deal with. So they don't want you to be able to defend yourself. They don't want you to be able to see a way out. And when you do plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, as it was for me, I was also within what I thought was a trusting relationship as a friend of mine that was the instigator, the agitator, the hacker, the psychological manipulator to smile in my face and playing up two sides, facing a person that's you think has a moral uprightness and a moral continuity about them, but they don't. And that's not a friend. It's not somebody that you should have within your inner circle as far as being a brother or being treated like a brother, because they're only treating you anywhere in their life, they're only treating you good and good enough to substantiate further activities of the operational crimes that they're taking and placing all over your life. And not to mention establishing the psychological abuse within the affairs that were driven into my life with intent as well, like hurt me in the worst ways, cause a problem that's just going to go and sort itself out. And then my even playing back to him, I was hurt. I mean, fucking hurt, man. Just completely annihilated. And because of that annihilation, I'm like, I've already been figuring this crime out, so I'm just going to placate back as if this is the real case. I'm just going to go, I'm going to take my life. Gee, he didn't even give one fuck. He would be happy that he got me to take my life. Fucking complete cuck, man. Complete fucking asshole. To perform in this way. It's just such a fucking sick crime, G. You can do that to your own people. Someone that fucking cares about you. Someone that prays about you and for you. Someone that was praying for and with even the relationship by proxy I was in, which is exactly why it hurt her so bad. Like, she can go ahead and try to deny it, but whenever she realized that she was just a piece and that there was no love, she was throwing him under the bus, because I was now moving to call them out. She was throwing him under the bus. He was throwing her under the bus. Obviously, I'm thrown into a freaking gauntlet of a spiritual and psychological warfare, not to mention the biological warfare of poisoning me. But then my brothers even threw me under the bus, saved their own faces from the heftiness of that type of crime. Protecting Jesse's I don't know how you'd say that, but they were protecting Jesse and wanting to protect Jesse and not me by suggesting that I'm all over the place. I don't know what I'm speaking about. Oh, okay. I only had to move for the last 3-4 months to just simply call my energy back and my autonomy back so that I could barely be able to think at all outside of the poisoning, and then be putting these patterns together and the puzzle together. There's 1,000-piece puzzle all clipped up and turned into sawdust. And here I am taking all these pieces of the fucking picture and putting them together, each puzzle piece together, to then put the puzzle itself together. But that's how fragmented they wanted me to be inside of this warfare. So either way, whatever people want to see and side with, they really have no right to be performing these heavy crimes over me. And that they are, and that they had been. It's a real sick crime. It's a really, really sick fucking crime. They can go ahead and play that they're, oh, I never did this, oh, I never did that, and da-da-da, whatever. I know what they did, what they are doing, and even systematically who's working in favor of these people to perform crimes, because now they're trying to stop me from having any kind of benefits at all when I should be getting all 4. They're taking away all of them, and it's specifically to measure me out of being able to know what to do within the very heavy crime that they've taken inside of my life. And it is a heavy crime. It's the heaviest type of crime that I believe anyone in this whole entire world can face, is this type of gang stalking, where it's not just a system, but it's actually your own family, your own father, your own brother, your own proxy lover, your own proxy made friend. So I know how it sounds to the natural public. It sounds like I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy, and I know I'm not crazy. I was led crazy. I was drawn into the crazy that these people were performing over my life. I was never crazy. I was a poisoned up victim, psychologically being manipulated within a very concerning war crime against me for all time, without any help from the resources, mentioning things about it time and time again to the police, being drawn into abuse, being drawn into the psychological warfare, even planted abuse in my life, and planted abuse within a relationship, mind you, while being poisoned unwittingly, out of control. So they wanted me to not only be out of control, but to be made to look out of control. And so anyone that can suggest that a man homeless can go through everything that I've went through to get a home in general and to be in the place that I'm at now, without suggesting that it's an atrocity that's happened to them in their life, they're just absurd. They're absurd to think that a man should even have to work 150 hours a week, have all of this abuse happening to them, and be set up by their own family brothers to stake out their life, to literally take away their availability to live their own better life. Like, thanks so much, brothers. Thanks. Anyway, I'm out of here. I have a whole lot more to say, but thanks for listening this far, and I appreciate you for being here.